Okay, I'm at 2000 Trees and I'm here with Sai. Hello.
Hello.
So we're stood in front of the booth for your brand right now.
Again, heads above the waves.
Heads above the waves. So how did this all start?
Do you know what? It started 11 years ago. I was 23. I'd struggled with my mental health and specifically self-harm when I was a teenager, and I used drums was like my coping mechanism that kind of got me through that. And I was like, I want to teach everybody to play the drums, and that's going to fix mental health. And then obviously that isn't the ultimate answer. But yeah, originally I wanted to make band t-shirts and give the money to Samaritans. I went for a grant and they said, we wouldn't fund you to support an existing organization, we'd fund you to start your own.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So yeah, we started that and yeah, just kind of kept on growing from there, really.
Sick. So it started with what, like one t-shirt, a small collection? Like what was the beginnings that led us to obviously like a huge collection now?
So the very original one was we had 3 designs, and that was in a little kind of vintage suitcase that we just rock up at gigs with and just be like, can we sell some t-shirts, please?
Oh, so like alongside bands
Yeah. And very much starting in that Cardiff music scene there, and yeah, friends shows, early iterations of Holding Absence shows, my own band shows, Junior, and yeah, just kind of anywhere that would have us, really. And working with promoters in Cardiff as well, we've been so lucky to have people letting us in there in those spaces with that little suitcase of t-shirts. Yeah. And then gradually over the years we sort of expanded that, had a pop-up shop, got a full-time shop in Cardiff now, and just keep on expanding and trying to do interesting and cool things that's merch that people would want to wear anyway, but that also helps to kind of fund our work, absolutely, but also help start those conversations and be something that is like making mental health accessible.
Yeah, and cool.
And dare I say cool, yeah.
I know it sounds cheesy, but I think especially as a man, and it's a very poignant, important conversation to have. Women, we talk a lot about our feelings. Men don't so much. So I think it is relevant to say making it cool, as cheesy as it sounds. Make it cool for men is important, right?
Well, yeah, and actually, and especially like you say, with men, like it's sometimes harder to have that conversation. And so I feel like with something like a stall at a festival, if you're someone who doesn't feel entirely confident talking about your mental health, to actually just come over here and be like, oh, I'm just looking at some t-shirts, I'm looking at some cool hoodies while I'm here. To your mates, if you don't want them to know about it, you could just be looking at clothes, but you could be having a deep conversation with us. Obviously, we're working towards a world where that doesn't need to happen, but like, this is kind of a stepping stone to get to that point. So yeah, absolutely. That's
really cool. Okay, can we grab a couple of your favorite pieces to show the camera?
This is probably like the number one thing for me. It's like a constant work in progress, which I think is kind of a Set Your Goals song, isn't it? It's a line in a Set Your Goals song.
It's also just a cool message.
Well, it is, right? And it's like, actually, I think particularly when we're talking about mental health, like there's no kind of, that you don't get better, you get better at dealing with it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So like it's rather than it being like a fixed endpoint of I've made it and I've completed mental health, it's kind of like I'm just constantly growing and constantly getting better. So yeah, that's the message on that one. I love that. So this is the other one. It's self-love is punk rock. And this came from, funny enough, I was on tour in Germany with an artist, and I was like just kind of reflecting on the idea that the idea that punk rock is all about kind of like a place of expression and freedom to be who you want to be, and like a place where you can let go of all the stuff that's like swirling around inside my head. And that's basically all the things that self-love is. And so yeah, self-love is punk rock is the same thing to me. So yeah, that's the message on that one as well.
That's super cute.
Self-love is punk rock. Yeah,
very
baby.
Cool. Well, thank you. It's nice talking to you.
Absolutely.
Cheers.